Are you ready to learn to get rid of stress in your life? To learn how to deal with the emotional turmoil that causes strokes, heart attacks, bad health, and even weight gain? Life-changing habits for work, family, and everyone you deal with start here with Andrew Wittman. It's time to get warrior tough. Here's Andrew Wittman and Dutch Coleman.
What's up? It's time to get warrior tough, the most monumental 55 minutes now in media anywhere. We're your leadership and mental toughness coaches, Andrew Wittman and the Dutch Coleman.
And ready to go. How you doing this week, buddy?
Good, man. Let's rock it because we're running short now. So, hey, if you want to use get in on the conversation on Twitter, use the hashtag #GetWarriorTough. You can find Dutch at the Dutch Coleman. I'm at WarriorToughPhD. The call-in number is 855-856-1380. And, of course, always go to the website, GetWarriorTough.com, find a handle, and hook in. Dutch, exciting week this past week, man.
Amen, brother. I felt really blessed this week with all the things that are happening with our little organization here. The grinding we've been doing is paying off, and I'm excited for you and us.
Yeah, man, it's for I am excited for us. It really, and so like last Friday I was on Fox in Charlotte. I did a TV interview on their morning show up there, and it went really well. It's up on the website if you guys haven't seen it. It went out to Facebook, and it went really kind of our first time something like that went that big and that viral. It hit over like 5,000 people, and there was like 28 people shared it. So thank you for all the shares and the comments and the likes. It was awesome, and it was a good time, and it was fun.
Absolutely, man. You're talking about TV, so you're taking it to the next level here, man. I know we've done a bunch of radio interviews, and it's not your first foray into television.
It's been a while, cool, though, man. Yeah, it's been a while.
It's cool anytime you get to get back in there. You know what I mean? So I'm happy that you got to get back on the horses. They say get back in the saddle, and it looked like a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, it was a great time. The hostess was great. Her host, however they call her name was Paige, and she was awesome, and the whole crew was great. And just really upbeat, and it had been a while. I mean, I hadn't been on TV in, I don't know, like 10 or 12 years. When I ran for Congress back in 2004 was the last time I was on, so it was fun. And then, yesterday, we had an article come out in the Washington Post, and we're going to talk a little bit about it. Right? Yeah, so the name of the article, what are you laughing at, man?
That's an old rap lyric. I didn't think you'd be able to pick out where that came from.
I didn't. You want to share? Go ahead and share. It's an old rap lyric.
Just some LL Cool J. I'm sure you know who LL Cool J is, though, right?
Yeah, he's that guy that was like on the thing with the NCIS people, right?
Yes. You know him from his acting days.
Yeah. He was that guy with the thing. Yeah, he was on SWAT too. That movie SWAT, I think.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, he was like a SWAT guy, right? See, I know.
Yeah, he's in a bunch of different movies.
All right, So look, we had an article come out in the Washington Post. It was done by Strayer University, which was pretty cool because they quoted about 5 of us in there, and which was really cool because some of the other folks that were quoted in the article with me were, I mean, they're folks that I actually used some of their work in some of their research in our book. You know, I cited some of their work. So it was cool for me. But it was called With Brain Science, Doubt Can Be a Distant Memory. And so it says, it starts out, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'll just give you the first paragraph, and then we'll jump into what we want to talk about tonight, which is, of course, brain science. So it says that many people think the difference between success and failure is a combination of luck, talent, and resources. But experts say, and of course I'm one of those, success depends much more on our complex brain processes and how we harness them. The good news is that success is within our reach. And so tonight I want to talk a little bit about not rocket surgery, but the brain science behind rewiring the brain and teaching old dog new tricks. Because we have clients that come to us and they'll be like, well, I'm old. You know, I wish I had this when I was 20. It's not going to work now, is it? Yes.
Right. Well, let me go back. First thing I wanted to say about the Washington Post is that's the 6th largest.
Yeah, I think they're number 6 in the circulation. Yeah.
Which is crazy because even if they're 5, even if they're 7, that's still pretty darn good.
Yeah.
The second thing is I want you to read that sentence again about luck, talent, and what's the other one? Read that whole sentence.
Okay,
again.
So many people think the difference between success and failure is a combination of luck, talent, and resources.
Okay, luck, talent, and resources. Many people. See that sentence?
Yeah.
I want to change that sentence.
Okay.
To most people. In my experiences,
right?
Most people believe that.
They do.
Because I've heard most people say that. And it's so believed among regular people that it's will be accepted as a fact in any conversation that you will have with people. That's how bad the information is that the average person is getting. That is an accepted fact. That sentence that you read, if I polled 100 people, all of them would say, yes, that's true. And they would look at it as a fact, not as a truth, but a fact, because you know what? It makes sense until you bring in the science, which is made up of actual real data, information, supported by studies, supported by facts and science. When you bring in all those things, then we're cooking with grease. So go ahead. Go ahead
so all right, so no, I love that, because that is the absolute. And if you did find 1 out of 100, they were probably our client or one of these other folks that were in the article's client. But the research in the science. Okay, so here, like previously, not just regular folks like you just said, Dutch, but even scientists thought that the brain's structure was hardwired, and it was what it was. Once you got to an adulthood, that was it. It was over. That it was like this widely held belief, which was a truth. But now, as we get more data and we learn more about how the brain works, and we say, hey, that was a truth. It's not a fact. It used to be held as a fact that the brain was not capable of changing and growing after you became an adult. In fact, most of it, like as soon as you hit 18 or 21, something like that, that's when, you stop. But there's new research that is now revealing to us that the brain is actually plastic, as in that it has the ability to change based on your experiences, even in old age. The adult brain retains what they call this neuroplasticity. So it could change and move, and it's able to restructure its functions, and you can teach old dogs new tricks. It is never too late to rewire your brain and get new connections going. And it's very exciting information that's coming out about the brain.
And I'm glad that's supported by actual science, because it's something that as we've evolved, I'll say, we found it out. Because if you think about in the past, a couple generations ago, what you did when you were 18, 19, 20 or whatever, you did that until retirement. So what we found is, as generations proceeded and followed, there were a lot of people who were changing their careers, starting second careers after retiring from the first ones. Things that were unthought of a couple generations ago. Like, you were who you were. Whatever you did is who you were, and that was not changing. But then we came into this realm where people were starting second careers at 40. People were going back to school, learning completely new trades and new businesses and doing things that's completely new. So that was supported by some actual practice, but it was probably something that wasn't generally accepted, but was still seen as a every now and then, or it's possible. But now with the science, we're seeing that there was a reason that was happening.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
It's wonderful that we're now, because all these things that we talk about, other people talk about it, but you and I always try to bring in facts. We try to bring in science to support it. So it's no longer what we think. And because a lot of people are making moves in life based on what they think instead of based on what's fact, and we stay away from that
as much as possible. We do, so here's how the brain's made up. I'll just get a quick primer on how the brain works, because the foundation, because some of the stuff that we're going to get into later in the show, Dutch, we have to have this foundation. So the brain is made up of neurons, and the neurons are what process and transmit the information. And you guys have heard me say this before, through electrochemical signals. So it's an electrical and chemical combination, electrochemical system up there that runs the information back and forth in these neurons. And there are around 86 billion neurons in the human brain. Now, in between these neurons, the neurons are not all connected. There's like a gap, which is called a synapse. Synapses are these small gaps between the neurons, and that's where the electricity jumps across, right, of the information. So the information passes through, jumps from one to the other. And the receptors are called dendrites and axons. So, but anyway, the important thing is at birth, there's 2,500 synapses. There's 2,500 neural connectors that are made in the brain at birth, okay, as an infant. By the time you're 3 years old, now we've grown, and with our experiences and what we've learned, mom and dad and language and watching, Disney Channel and Nickelodeon, all that stuff, daycare, now we have 15,000 of these connections, 15,000 synapses at 3 years old.
30 seconds.
And now, listen, we were up on a break. Boy, that was super fast. As soon as we get back, I'll tell you where we are with the adult brain, and then we'll hit the thing running. You're listening to the Get Warrior Tough radio show with Andrew and Dutch.